Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD. In today's video, we will be going over my initial attempts as well as modifications for advanced dining reservations for my upcoming fall 2021 trip to Walt Disney World. Other than a general update for my trip, we will also be going over some tips and tricks related to ADR Day. I'll also show you some snippets of a live look-in at what that hectic time during ADR Day, right when your booking window opens up, looks like. If you want to peek behind the scenes of the mechanics of actually making advanced dining reservations, or if you want to hear my tips and tricks and share yours in the comments as well, stay tuned. Before we get started, if you enjoy the content on the channel, be sure to hit that thumbs up button to like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can ring the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new videos. And if you have friends you think would enjoy my content about Disney Vacation Club or Walt Disney World, please be sure to share. I really appreciate all of your support. The channel wouldn't be where it is without you. Okay, let's get into it. Previously on the channel, we have gone over quite a lot of information about advanced dining reservations, so we'll just do a brief overview now. Currently, since Walt Disney World reopened after their pandemic-related closure, advanced dining reservations open up 60 days in advance of your arrival at 6 a.m. Walt Disney World time. This used to be 180 days in advance. For now, it has shrunk to 60. Advanced dining reservations are tied to your hotel reservation. So 60 days in advance of your arrival day, you will be able to make advanced dining reservations for that day, and if you're staying on-site, for the length of your hotel reservation. If you're staying off-site, you'll just have to do these one day at a time, 60 days in advance of when you want to dine. Before your advanced dining reservation booking window opens up, it's really important that you go through Walt Disney World's dining options and decide which table service restaurants you are interested in. Then you will want to rank them by order of importance. We won't be going chronologically in order of your trip on booking day. Instead, you'll want to book the thing that matters most to you first. So even if that happens to be the second to last day of your trip, that is the thing you're going to prioritize. This is why you need to rank them in order of importance. And also note that it may not work out. Sometimes getting advanced dining reservations is incredibly difficult, so have a backup plan. If you know you definitely want to have a sit-down lunch the third day of your trip, whether or not that happens to be at Be Our Guest, Liberty Tree Tavern, or somewhere else, make sure that you have your plan A as well as a plan B. Next, before your advanced dining reservation day comes, you need to make sure that you have a My Disney Experience account, and you really should add your credit card information into your account. Generally speaking, you do not pay up front when you make advanced dining reservations, but you are putting a credit card guarantee down. And if you happen to completely no-show your reservation, then you will be charged via that credit card guarantee $10 per person. There are a few exceptions where you do have to prepay at the time of booking. These tend to be more elaborate meals, things like Cinderella's Royal Table, Hoop-Dee-Doo Review, Spirit of Aloha Dinner Show, and similar. You've done your homework to understand the background information about advanced dining reservations, and you've done your pre-ADR day prep. You are all prepared, so let's fast forward to the morning of your ADR booking window opening up. Remember, times open up at 6 a.m. Walt Disney World time or Eastern time. Therefore, I like to be ready a few minutes beforehand. Around 5:50 a.m., I'll pull up the website and I will do a fresh log out and log into my Disney Experience account. Then I will go through and I'll open tabs on my browser of all the places I'm hoping to book in order of importance. For example, I did want to snag a Cinderella's Royal Table dining this time, so I had that tab open first, even though it may not have fallen on the first day of my trip. And then things I was pretty sure I would be able to get even if I had to wait 5 or 10 minutes, like Kona Cafe, Grand Floridian Cafe, Olivia's, etc., those were tabs sort of towards the end. Once this is set up, usually a few minutes before 6 a.m., things will change in the system. If you're an on-site guest, your hotel reservation should be linked in your My Disney Experience account. Then the entire system, including dining, will recognize your hotel reservation. From there, you'll notice that the days on the calendar will become clickable for your whole stay. So even though it's not 6 a.m. yet, usually a few minutes before, the arrival day and then the length of your stay if you're an on-site guest up through 10 days will start to show up and you'll be able to click those. Then you will also be able to click your desired time. Note that I've generally found better success when I'm aiming for a time rather than a meal period, so if I want to have a 7 p.m. dinner, I will click 7 p.m. instead of dinner. If you're doing this a few minutes beforehand, like I'm suggesting here around 5:55 a.m. Eastern Time, the search times function won't actually work. So you can click your day, you can select your time, but if you click search times, it's going to tell you that there's an error in the system. What's happening is these reservations aren't released yet. But if you're doing this ahead of time and early, you can go ahead and go through all of your tabs to click the day you want and the time you want so they are ready to go. Once the clock hits 5:59 a.m., I usually just jam my mouse and click search times over and over and over and over. Yes, I do this for the full minute or until reservations show up. In my case, I've never gotten lucky and got them before 6 a.m., though I have heard of that happening. We'll skip through some of this footage, but you get the general idea. You are set and ready to go. You are looking at your most important dining reservation for you, personally, and we are trying to snag a time. At 6 a.m., the reservations will be released. In this case, you can see that there was nothing available for me at Cinderella's Royal Table at the moment, so that was kind of a bummer. But that's the general procedure. And again, if there's no times available at where you want and you have a plan B, go ahead and move on to your backup plan. Otherwise, keep going through your tabs. Let's look at a different outcome when an advanced dining reservation is available. After you click Search Times, the first thing that you're going to do is choose an arrival time. Here you can see I've moved on to Crystal Palace. I'm looking for a lunch reservation around 1 o'clock, and when I click Search Times, great, there actually are options. So go ahead and click that time. Whoever's logged in will be managing the reservation, and then after that it's going to ask you to choose your guests. You can do this, but you don't actually have to for the most part. I did find with Cinderella's Royal Table, I had to select the guests, so perhaps for the prepaid experiences you do. But generally speaking, a vast majority of ADRs, you don't actually have to pick your party right away. I leave this off until much later. Assigning the guests is something that's very easy to complete anytime after you've made the reservation. And if you're trying to book a lot of reservations on that morning of your ADR, frankly, I think it's time wasted to assign the guests, so I just leave it blank and I move on. After you select your guests, you'll have to put down your credit card guarantee. If you've already entered your credit card into your account, hopefully it will remember that and have it pre-selected. That being said, even though I did have my credit card assigned in my Disney Experience account, sometimes when I was making reservations, it said I didn't have one on file and I had to fill out all of my information. So either have your credit card information memorized or have it with you handy to type it in real fast. In general with ADRs, and honestly a lot of the online tech experience with My Disney Experience, expect some errors. Pack your patience. I also occasionally ran into full errors where I would click next and then the page would just error out. In all of those cases, luckily, if I just refreshed the page, the reservation that I was working on was still retained in my cart, basically. All this is to say, just be prepared for some hiccups. After you select a credit card, whether it's in your account where you have to fill that information out morning up, then you're going to go ahead and move on to the reservation contact information. If you filled this out in your My Disney Experience account, this should autofill. It's going to be your email and your phone number. This is also the page where you would add food allergies or special requests. I never really do any of this. Thankfully, I don't have any major food allergies that I have to worry about, so I skipped this step. And even if you skip this step, I've had friends in the past who don't do this during booking, but then when they arrive at Disney, they're very accommodating for folks with allergies, and usually a chef will come out and talk to you to make sure whatever you order is totally safe. Finally, you have to agree to the terms and conditions, so check this little box in the bottom, and then you are good to go. You're ready to book. If successful, you will get a confirmation page that says, "Congratulations," big on the top, and then we'll have your reservation information below. Then you can always double check in the My Plans part of My Disney Experience to make sure that it shows up. You should also get an email confirmation of this reservation. It's so nice to have a successful reservation, but you probably have more to do, so on to the next tab. If an advanced dining reservation that you really want is unavailable, well, there are some things you can do. First, like I already said, book your plan B, get that done so you at least have something if you know you really want to dine during that time, even if it's not at your perfect location. Second, keep checking back. Do manual checks. You can do this online on your computer. You can also do it on the app on your phone. In particular, be sure to check back even just 10 to 30 minutes after your initial attempt on that day that your ADR booking window opened up. For me, right at 6 a.m. when I went to book Cinderella's Royal Table, there was literally nothing. So I went through and I booked the rest of my reservations, and then I came back to Cinderella's Royal Table about 15 minutes later, and suddenly there was a 3:55 reservation, so I snagged that up. Sometimes I think people may put reservations in their cart and then second guess it, especially for these experiences where you do have to prepay like Cinderella's Royal Table. Other than manual checks, there are a variety of tools online that can help you out with this. Personally, I've been utilizing Mouse Dining and WDW Passport and Touring Plans. The first two of these will allow you to have 2 free alerts set up where they will email you if they find a reservation. I believe Touring Plans is paid only. Also, I'm fairly certain that for all these free dining reservation checkers, you can pay a certain amount per alert in order to have them text your mobile phone instead of just email you. Touring Plans, for example, you can get a text and an email, but like I said, it is a paid service. These services are essentially bots. You will tell them the restaurant that you want to dine at on a certain day at a meal period or an exact time, plus or minus an hour or so. And then every couple hours, the bots will check, and if they find availability, they will go ahead and email or text you. It still is up to you to book that, and if you don't have the fastest fingers, you might lose out to somebody else. In my experience, I'm not sure how often the bots are checking, but I do believe it's probably every couple of hours. We're not talking about an every minute cycle. So if there's a reservation that you really want, go ahead and sign up for multiple of the free services because they're probably checking at different times. For example, I was able to snag a reservation that I was really hoping to get via the email I got from Mouse Dining, even though I had the paid text also set up at Touring Plans. Essentially, I just don't think that the Touring Plans bot was checking for that reservation at the same time that the Mouse Dining bot was. If there are other reservation finder services that you use and you like, please leave them in the comments down below. Essentially though, if you missed out on a reservation, keep checking back manually and keep utilizing these services, whether free or paid, for as long as you can. But then about 1 to 2 days before you actually want to dine, start checking back a lot more frequently. There is this credit card guarantee, and you have to cancel more than 24 hours in advance in order to not be charged that no-show fee. So a lot of folks will change their plans sort of last minute in this 1 to 2 day before time frame. You never know what's going to show up for dining reservations, and if you are flexible enough to slot something in if you really want to do it, then it's worth checking for sure. Let's take a look at my initial advanced dining reservation attempts. We're doing split stays, and like I said before, your dining booking window is actually linked to your hotel reservation. So if you have a split stay, you will have multiple ADR days. All in all, we were able to get almost everything that we wanted, which was fantastic. This included some reservations that are typically touted as pretty hard to get, like Topolino's Terrace for dinner and an Oga's Cantina reservation. Unfortunately, on the first day when my booking window was opened, there was absolutely nothing for Le Cellier or Beaches and Cream for the rough days and times we were looking for. And I was able to snag reservations at both Cinderella's Royal Table and California Grill on that initial day that my booking window opened up, but they were at pretty undesirable times. Personally, I think getting something is better than nothing because you can always try to modify it, but I knew that these weren't set in stone and done. I would have to come back and keep trying to modify them. That's the summer of my initial ADR attempts, but of course I like to tinker, and like I said, there were some things that I missed out on and some things that I knew I wanted to change. So since my booking window opened up, I have continued to tinker. All in all, what I can say for sure is modifications are your friend. You can do this on your laptop or on the Disney app on your phone. Essentially, you'll go to your plans and then scroll down to the reservation that you want to modify. Click Change Reservation. Here you can change the date, the time, and the size of the party. In my case, every time I'm just trying to look for a better time. Then you click Search. If there happens to be a modification that fits your needs better, go ahead and book that right away. In this example, of course, I failed and there was nothing better. But I'll keep trying. Here's a summary of my continued ADR attempts. Beaches and Cream, I wasn't able to get anything on my initial attempt. About a week later, I found a 2:20 p.m. reservation, but that was pretty late. Another 4 days after that, I was able to modify it to a much better lunchtime, 12:05 p.m. I am still shooting for something closer to 11 though, so I will keep checking back. For Le Cellier, like Beaches and Cream, I wasn't able to find anything at all on ADR day. About a month later, I was able to snag an 8 o'clock reservation on the day that I wanted. I am hoping to get this closer to 7 or 7:30. 8 just feels a tiny bit late to be starting dinner. That's more like second dinner in my opinion, so I'll keep trying for this. For Cinderella's Royal Table, right at the start of my ADR day, there was nothing, but when I came back to it after booking everything else, I was able to snag a 3:55 p.m. Again, I would consider that pretty undesirable. About a month later, a 7:50 p.m. time slot opened up, so I went ahead and snatched that. Cinderella's Royal Table is a little bit strange because you can't just modify it like other ones because it is a prepaid experience. So I did full on cancel my 3:55 and then book the new 7:50 p.m. reservation. Then for California Grill, on my ADR day, we started at 9:20 p.m., which again is a little bit late if you ask me. About a week and a half later, I was able to modify this to 5:45 p.m., which is probably a little bit early. An additional 2 weeks after that, I found a 6:50 reservation that I snatched up. Ultimately, I'm hoping to get a 7:30 or 8 p.m. reservation. I want to do this dinner at California Grill after a day at the Animal Kingdom theme park, so I want to make sure we can be in the park for quite a long time, but still make it back in time for dinner. 6:50 might be a little bit early for that. That was a little smidge of footage of a live look-in at my initial attempts for advanced dining reservations. I also did show you the process of a modification. I still am trying to get that Beaches and Cream closer to 11 o'clock, but this one failed. I continue to fail. We'll see how it goes. Other than doing your homework and being prepared, I really think that my best advice is just pack your patience. It can be a long and arduous process, but stubbornness is your friend in this case. I am quite stubborn, so generally speaking with something like this, I'm pretty confident that I'll eventually get what I want. If you don't want to work this hard though, definitely have a plan B that you'll be happy with. Whether that's other table service meals that are going to be easier to book, or quick service dining that you know you'll still like. And definitely utilize those dining alert services, whether you're using the free alerts or paid versions. And like I explained earlier, if there's a reservation that is super important to you, I would absolutely double up on services. That worked out well for me, and I'm sending you all those good ADR vibes too. Overall, I still have a little bit more tinkering to do. I'm hopeful that in that 1 to 2 day before when I want to dine time frame comes up, I'll be able to edit everything to exactly my liking. If you have any advanced dining reservation tips and tricks, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Particularly if you use any services, I definitely want to hear about your experience with those. We can also chat about all things dining reservations and really Disney in general over on Twitter and Instagram. You'll find me at PixieDustPhD. Even though my table service dining reservations aren't perfect yet, I am really happy with the success rate I've had so far, and I'm definitely looking forward to these experiences in my upcoming trip to Walt Disney World. But wish me luck snagging those last few reservations. I could certainly use your good vibes. I hope the rest of your day is kind to you and feels like snagging that perfect California girl reservation. Stay magical, and we'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.